up, magical people? Welcome back to Your Most Magical Life. I'm Mia Magik, and today we're talking about the wisdom of winter. And I want to offer you guys some really supportive journal prompts as we enter into these dark days of the year. This is really an important and powerful time for us to take inquiry and inventory of our years, how things have gone. This is actually the Witch's New Year on around Samhain right now this week as the video is coming out. But really this period of time is so important for us to utilize as a portal, as a potential for us to make different choices, to create a different path, to walk forward in a new way in our lives when the light returns, when the sun is reborn, and when life is blossoming again in spring. So I have a free Wisdom of Winter event coming up on Friday, October 27th at 10 a.m. PST. If you would like to join me, I'm going to be leading a beautiful meditation, answering some of your questions, and really just supporting you all in dealing with any of the challenges and shadows and darkness within yourself that's arising as we enter into this winter phase of the year. So it's an absolutely free event. Make sure you click the link below to join me this week. For me personally, I grew up in a very wintry place. It's not necessarily a snowy place. I'm from Northern California, from the Redwood Forest, but we had a ton of fog, a lot of rain, and really just misty mornings every single day. It never really got very warm. Global warming has done a lot for the weather where I grew up, but it's been this profoundly nourishing and nurturing energy for me to be in a place where there's rain, where it's foggy, where you have to build a fire, where there's a chill in the air, and where winter really feels like this powerfully nourishing time for us to, again, take an inventory, look back, reflect. This is very much the season of reflection on ourselves, on how our year has gone, on who we're being and how we're showing up in order to make different choices and create a new reality with that information, right? You can't make new choices without the information that has sort of gotten you to where you are now. And so that's one of the really big pieces of winter that is this beautiful wisdom. Y'all will notice that my book, Intuition, is right here. It's finally here. I'm super excited. So if you would like to learn more about the language of the universe and how you can communicate with the elements and with the world around you in a super empowered way in order to live your most magical life, please make sure you pre-order today. It's very helpful and really means a lot to first-time authors like me. There's so much in this book that really talks about all the ways we can utilize this winter season and energy to positively impact and empower ourselves and our lives. So you can use color magic, blue and white and silver. Obviously, when we think about winter decor, those are very much the colors of winter, even blacks and grays, fawny browns, the way that the colors that the plants become when they die. This is such a beautiful season to utilize those colors to really connect with the energy of purity, of regeneration, of reflection, of sleep and rest, and to allow yourself to come into stillness and quiet and calm and peace. This is the season of peace. And so the first journal prompt that I want to offer you is, what would it take for me to experience more peace in my life? What would I need to do in order to feel more peaceful? How can I generate more peace in my life? You can answer that question in any way that feels right, or utilize any one of the facets of that question. And then when you have that information and you're looking at how you need to cultivate more peace in your life, whatever guidance comes through for you, really considering the last parts of your year, the last chapters. You can go back as far as you want throughout your whole life, but looking at the ways that maybe there was chaos or disruption or distraction or mental chatter in your life where you didn't experience peace throughout this year, and what role did you play in that? What role have I played in, and you can use whatever word feels opposite of peace to you, whether it's chaos or frustration, confusion, feeling lost, noise, chatter. What ways have I contributed to the chaos in my life? Or you can say the lack of peace. What ways have I played into the lack of peace in my life? And really go back month by month throughout the year. If you want, this is hard work, obviously, but this is what I think is really impactful, especially for this Witch's New Year time. Go back and look at your life. We're utilizing that energy of reflection, right? Like a frozen pond. like a really still lake because nobody's swimming in the water except my crazy ass, during this winter time. We're using that element of reflection and the energy of introspection, gathering information and insight, because that's what the natural world is doing during winter. It's being quiet and it's looking at how the harvest and the forest and the connection to all of the other trees and the plants and the weather, like how everything went throughout the year, and determining what it will do in the next season, which is spring. So it's using this whole period of winter, this energy of death, to make new choices, to be reborn, to rise again as an even better, stronger, wiser version of itself. All of nature's doing that in wintertime. So we really want to do that within ourselves. Utilize that introspection, inventory, taking inventory of ourselves, our habits, our behaviors, and realizing how we can create more peace. Now, the next season that's coming is spring. So think about within yourself, what would it take for me to rise reborn as who I desire to be? What would it take? What would be required of me? Again, reflecting, looking back at the ways that you have had a challenging year, looking back at the ways that you showed up or behaved in a manner that wasn't actually befitting of your highest self or wasn't totally in alignment. Something that's really, really empowering for me, and obviously has been coming up a lot for my team because of the way that I function in my life, is really being particular about aligning your actions with your values, with your morals. If you say that you are a devotee of the earth or that you love nature, then you should not be buying shit from Amazon. You should not be buying fast fashion. You should not be shopping at H&M and Forever 21 and all of these places that are absolutely desecrating our planet in the name of saving money. It's not worth you saving money on clothes that are absolutely destroying the planet. You don't want to save money in that way because you're actually contributing to the opposite of the planet being saved. You're contributing to the planet being killed. And that's really hard in the modern day. It's really hard to put our fucking money where our mouth is and to show up in ways that are really value aligned. But that's something that's absolutely imperative for me. It's something that really impacts my life. It makes me feel better. I feel happier. I feel calmer. I feel like the earth can actually sense my service to her. And we have this beautiful reciprocal relationship where she continues to reward me and to bless me and to make my life better because she knows that I am buying everything secondhand. Even this dress, y'all. I love this company. This is a dress called, a place called Luna Star in Topanga where I live. And all of the fabric for this, why it's trimmed in random little things, is because these are all offcuts. This would all be garbage, this fabric. And instead, they take the garbage fabric and just make one or two things that you can with the offcuts from other dresses from other companies. And I just love that so much. I'm like, oh my God, I'm wearing this beautiful thing that would have been garbage. This is magnificent. My home is fully furnished secondhand. And of course, this is something that I really talk about a lot because I'm super passionate about it and because I have a lot of students who really ask me questions about money. And one of the main factors for the destruction of the earth is in the name of saving money and buying things cheaply that don't actually last very long, are not good for the planet, are full of microplastics, are contributing to the destruction of rainforests. We could go on and on and on. And so this is a big way that I have found that the more devoted I am to this value and that I stay in alignment with it and I actually act upon what I believe to be right with this moral, this way, this lifestyle, the more the goddess, the planet, the universe rewards me with greater abundance, deeper friendships, all of the good things in my life that I desire. So that's a really important question to look at for this winter wisdom is, how am I walking in alignment with my values or not? How am I acting upon what I believe in or not? What am I doing? What choices am I making that are out of alignment with the kind of world I want to live in? Right? So if you're creating a lot of drama or gossiping about people, but you want to live in a world where you've experienced sisterhood or you have a coven or you have women in your life that you really trust and can count on, but then you're talking shit about them behind your back, that is not in alignment. That's not serving and supporting you living this magical life and in this magical way that's deeply connected to other people and specifically sisters. So this winter time, this moment, this is the season of death. Not in a morbid, scary, bad, like we make it very spooky around Halloween and Samhain, but it's not supposed to be spooky. It's supposed to be part of the cycle of life, this imperative and innate and inherent aspect of nature, an aspect of ourselves. We're all gonna die. Like, hate to remind you, but I don't feel nervous about that day. The only thing that would make me nervous is like not living fully while I'm here and dying before I've accomplished everything that I want to accomplish, which is why I'm working towards accomplishing everything that I want to accomplish. So death is really meant to be an invitation for us to live more fully, more wholly, more wholeheartedly. So how can you look at the energy of death? What would you be most disappointed in? What would be the thing that if you died tomorrow and you had not accomplished, that you would be devastated or you would be sad? It's time to start working towards that thing. That's what death is meant to motivate you for, meant to encourage you for, is the things that you want to achieve or receive or actualize or accomplish before it happens to you. So really thinking about, what do I need to let die? Again, like those habits, patterns, behaviors, the lack of peace, the habituated actions, the programming. What do I need to let die? Belief systems, in order to rise reborn as who I want to be. Now, a lot of these answers may be similar. They may be really woven in, but it might be specific actions, specific belief systems, and they all come together to support you in understanding what the path of transformation is, what the journey of healing needs to be for you. I had this like insane mic drop quote in a video that I made the other day, and it was something like, let the desires of your inner child, let the dreams of your inner child guide your actions, and let the wounds of your inner child guide you to your healing. It was more eloquent when it just came out as a transmission, but when I edited that video, I was like, damn, that shit is fire. And it's true. So that's a really important thing to do during the winter season. So thank you for watching this video and checking out these journal prompts, because you want to work with your shadow during this time so that when the light returns, your light returns with it. You give yourself permission to shine brighter, to be more radiant, to live in and embody your power even more deeply. So also asking yourself, like, what are my stories around rest? Because there's going to be two types of people, and I'm always nervous about, giving people that are super lazy more permission to rest. Like, if you tend towards rest, then the invitation for you is to get up and take action, or to use that rest as like, do meditation, do spiritual practice, like do something that inspires the transfer, or like the integration of the information that you have, right? So from these journal prompts, from your year, just from your own personal awareness, doing something. It's not about like, get outside and shine bright. Like, okay, we're in summertime, springtime. No, but utilize the information that you have. So does that mean that you need to really like do some mirror work, do some self-love practices, connect with your sexuality, dial in your personal pleasure? What does that mean? What does that look like to you? Do you want to, even when it's like cold outside, dress in new fabrics, adorn yourself in a different way? This isn't about like super outward, external, like go have a party. It's about, what do you need to do? How do you need to show up for yourself in order to feel like the old ways, the old habits are dying? You're letting them go. You're taking action that is going to have a ripple effect in that springtime moment. And you're going to learn and take baby steps. Like, that's what's happening in wintertime, is like winter is taking these really micro steps. It looks like nothing's happening. The appearance is stillness. So if this is, for you, the people that maybe like lean towards a little bit of laziness, it can look like, oh, she's just staying at home, just doing like the same old thing that she's always doing. But instead, you're not just doing the same old thing. You can still stay at home. You can still be internal. You can still stay full hermit winter mode. But you're doing practice. You're doing breath work. You're doing meditation. Maybe you're doing workouts or yoga. Whatever is actually going to be the death of the old way for you, that allows you to truly open and blossom, like baby steps. Again, it's not going to happen overnight, but that's going to prove to you that there is a higher or a deeper or a more expanded, more fully expressed version of yourself that is capable of reemerging in springtime or in that moment, like a couple of months from now when you're like, wow, I've really benefited from this meditation practice, or I really feel my body strengthened just from doing like, a 20-minute workout every day. Changing my diet, only eating like really seasonally nourishing foods during this winter. I gave up junk food or whatever it is, And then for those of you that are maybe more in your masculine, you're always working and it's like go, 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 and you're on your commute and all the things, like your invitation is to rest. And let me remind y'all, and I say this to myself all the time, like sitting on your phone is not resting. Watching something like this, yes, like sure. This is more restful because hopefully you're connecting with, your journal, with yourself. Maybe you're pausing and writing these prompts down immediately and then like writing and then coming back to me, or you're just absorbing the information, writing down the prompts, and then you're going to take some time to yourself to journal and answer them. So it's a little different, but like just mindlessly scrolling all of the things that we do, like watching shows, TV, like movies, horror things, like anything that's not good for you, that's not helping you to expand your consciousness is not restful for your brain, for your heart, for your body. It's not restful. So what does that look like? Sitting outside in the sun, going to a park, like going outside in nature. For some of you, there's not very much sun right now. It's still sunny and beautiful here in Southern California, but whatever it is for you that feels restful and gives your nervous system permission to just fucking chill, to just be still and still feel safe and still feel worthy and still feel accepted, even for taking a moment. Because I know that can be really hard for some of us. So that's really the invitation of winter is, do you need to really take the rest, take the stillness, just do the reflection, just like look at how you've operated in peace, give yourself permission to have more peace in your life? Or have you been a little lazier and you need to really look at like, what are the habits, the stories, the narratives that are keeping me lazy, that are preventing me from taking action, that, make me procrastinate or make me want to like ignore and resist that which I'm supposed to be doing. So this is a really, really powerful time. Like as the days get colder and shorter leading up to the winter solstice, which is really like midwinter, sort of, kind of. I mean, there's so many different, some people, it's like December, January, February, and then Imbolc is like the end of winter into spring. It's like, there's a lot of different measurements. But winter is meant to teach us that it's okay to let things fall away. Because that which we let fall away, when you look at the truly healthy plants, the black gold of the soil, the forest floor, is made from generation after generation of leaves falling. Every year those leaves fall and they decompose and they become the fuel for their own growth, for those trees that grew the leaves in the first place. And we have so much to learn from that. What can you let go of? What can you let fall away that then actually becomes the fuel for the next iteration of yourself, for your future? And this is what we're going to be talking about in the live event, the Wisdom of Winter. I'm going to be leading a beautiful meditation and process and practice through this. And so I really hope that you can find it in yourself to look at the energy of death as something to celebrate, to honor. Not something that's scary, but like, what is important? What must I let die? What must I let die during this season? And honoring, something that I've been talking about in all of these other videos, the true origins of Samhain and rituals that you can do for Samhain. Something that's so important is the story of Jesus Christ is an adaptation of the story of the sun returning on the winter solstice. That's what's happening. It's the light of the sun being born. And this is the sun returning at the winter solstice, which is why it's like 4 or 5 days before Christmas, because that was a holy day that was changed by the church. So there's so much metaphor around winter. And snow, the white of the snow is the purity. It's the white of the snow. That's where this whole like white light and, you know, like the angels and all that, it's the snow. It's the winter snow. And so you can also look at what ways am I programmed to feel about winter, to feel about death? What are my stories about this time of year? Oh, like the weather's bad. We call it like bad weather. Have you ever seen a snowflake? Because last winter for me living in Colorado, I remember, I'll never forget this time I like went out with actually a blue coat on and saw all these snowflakes land on me. And they were so big and so perfect, like full frozen fractals, crystalline structures all around me. Makes me want to watch Frozen again because I fucking love that movie so much. Frozen 2 technically is like one of my favorite movies of all time. I think the way that they showcase Indigenous people and what happened to Indigenous people in a children's movie is like full blown. So any of you grown-ups who have not seen Frozen 2, like you have to watch it. It's so fucking good. And you kind of have to watch the first one in order to know what's going on in the second one, but it's still worth it. And I saw all of these snowflakes that were so beautiful. They didn't look real. I could not believe it. They're little water droplets. They're little tears from heaven, crystallized into the most beautiful structure I could ever imagine. Snow is not bad weather, even like blizzards. You're meant to be inside. You're not meant to be, we didn't used to have cars. You're not meant to be traveling. You're not meant to be going anywhere. You're meant to be like holed up with your meat smoked and your vegetables preserved and like your pumpkins down in the root cellar and you've got your family and your fire and like that's what you're doing. There was no TV. There was no Netflix. There was storytelling and singing and sewing and staying warm together. And so it's very important for us to remember that we've lost so many of these ways. Do you still feel like you need to be like moving and pumping and going all of the time? Do you resist and fear death? Are you actually living your life in a way that acknowledges the fact that death is coming inevitably for you one day? Are you going to be satisfied when that day comes? This is really what winter asks of us in a way that is, again, an opportunity. It's not meant to be morbid or scary. It's meant to give us the opportunity to choose how we will function, how we will be reborn, how we will blossom and rise and grow in the coming season. So again, I hope y'all join me on Friday, October 27th for the Wisdom of Winter. It's going to be absolutely sweet and juicy and magical, and we're going to dive deeper into answering some of these questions and doing a beautiful meditation together. And then I'm going to be doing some coaching and answer some Q&A. And I am just so grateful to all of you for being here with me. Thank you so much for watching and for honoring this really beautiful, different way that I have of relating to the craft. I know that, it's not the same as everybody else. I'm not talking to you about just like casting your spells. That I just have not found those things to be what really changed my life. What really changed my life was looking at the way that the universe was communicating to me. And I did this through, yes, like deep relationship to nature and studying Tantra as a left-handed goddess-based path. And so my relationship to nature was like, she was my teacher. And in Tantra, Layla Martin was my teacher. I did her whole year-long coaching certification as well a few years ago. And I have a link for that if some of you are like really looking to dive into Tantra as a as a coach, as a way of life, and really want to get certified in something, I'm going to put that link below here if you are interested in Vita. It's like a big year-long certification program, big investment, all the things, but I'm going to leave that here. Again, I have my free event October 27th. That's going to be super magical. And of course, Witch School is still open to all of you who would like to join. It is such a beautiful, powerful, amazing program that I am so honored to teach and to share. And it is going to be just a beautiful way to dive into these studies, to be in reflection, and then to be reborn in your most magical life when spring returns next year. So thank you all so much again for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I am Mia Magik, and welcome to your most magical life.